As we explore the depths of the Bible, we come across passages that speak directly to our hearts and minds. One such passage is Proverbs 6:16-19, where the wise King Solomon lists 7 things God hates. The irony lies in how often these hated things are woven into our daily lives. We may not even realize the harm we're causing by indulging in them. In this series, we'll delve into each of these 7 things God hates, examining what they mean and why they're so crucial to avoid. It's essential to understand that God's hatred isn't about wrath or anger, but rather his deep love for humanity. He wants us to flourish in our relationships, work, and character. The things he hates only lead to destruction, pain, and regret. As we explore these 7 things together, I invite you to reflect on your own life. Are there areas where you're struggling or feeling stuck? Perhaps there's a particular hated thing that keeps creeping back into your routine. In this introduction, let's set the stage for our journey through the 7 things God hates. With an open heart and mind, we'll uncover new insights and practical advice to help us live more intentionally and in harmony with God's desires. Understanding God's heart, the Bible encourages us to be like a tree planted by streams of water. Psalm 1:3. We're meant to thrive, not wither away. By examining the 7 things God hates, we can discover fresh paths to follow and new habits to adopt, allowing us to walk in God's blessing and light. Biblical context and key passages. The phrase, "Do not be afraid," is scattered throughout the Bible, appearing over 365 times. Its earliest recorded use can be found in Genesis 15:1, where God reassures Abram of his promise to give him descendants as numerous as the stars. As we journey through the Old Testament, this comforting phrase reappears in various contexts. In Isaiah 41:10, for instance, God declares that he will strengthen those who trust in him and not be afraid or dismayed. This confidence is echoed in Psalm 23:4, where David writes, "Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Jesus himself uses this phrase on multiple occasions. In Matthew 14:27-31, he calms the stormy waters and tells his disciples not to be afraid. Later, in Mark 5:36, he commands a grieving woman, "Do not be afraid, just have faith," when she approaches him for healing. What does it mean to not be afraid in these contexts? Essentially, it means trusting in God's sovereignty and goodness, even when circumstances seem overwhelming. By doing so, we can find peace in the midst of turmoil and live with a sense of hope and courage. This mindset is rooted in God's love for us, as expressed in John 14:27. Meaning and key themes. The 7 things God hates are not just random items on a list. They're deeply intertwined with God's character and his design for our lives. By understanding these hated things, we can better grasp God's heart and his desire for us to flourish. Consider the concept of haughty eyes. This refers to an attitude of pride and arrogance, where one looks down on others or themselves as superior. In contrast, humility is a hallmark of God's nature, and it's something he desires in those who follow him. Isaiah 66:2-2. By cultivating humility, we can avoid the destructive path of haughty eyes. Another crucial theme is a lying tongue. This encompasses not only verbal deception but also dishonesty in thought, word, and action. God values honesty above all else. Proverbs 10:9. And when we lie, we're not just hurting others. We're damaging our own character and relationships. Lastly, a heart that devises wicked plans is a theme closely tied to the concept of rebellion against God. This refers to a mindset that intentionally seeks to do harm or cause chaos, rather than living in harmony with God's laws and principles. Psalm 37:4. In each of these 7 things God hates, we see a reflection of God's heart for humanity. He desires us to live in love, humility, honesty, and obedience, not out of fear or obligation, but because it brings joy and fulfillment. Practical application today. So how do these themes apply to our lives today? Let's consider the importance of pride. When we're proud, we become isolated from others and unable to receive guidance or help. This pride can manifest in many areas, whether it's our career, relationships, or even our faith. To overcome pride, we must recognize its presence in our lives and make a conscious effort to cultivate humility instead. This might involve apologizing when we're wrong, listening actively to others, or seeking feedback from trusted friends. Another crucial area of application is honesty. When we're dishonest with ourselves or others, we create an environment where trust breaks down and relationships suffer. By embracing honesty as a core value, we can build stronger connections with those around us and live more authentically. Some practical ways to prioritize honesty include being transparent about our struggles, admitting when we're wrong, and actively seeking forgiveness from others. Conclusion: as we've journeyed through the 7 things God hates, let's reflect on the profound implications of these hated things. They represent a path of destruction and regret, while God's love and wisdom offer us a way to flourish in our relationships, work, and character. By embracing humility, honesty, and obedience, we can live more intentionally and in harmony with God's desires. This isn't about fear or obligation, but about experiencing the joy and fulfillment that comes from living in accordance with His heart. As you close this series, I encourage you to take a fresh look at your own life. Are there areas where you're struggling or feeling stuck? Perhaps there's a particular hated thing that keeps creeping back into your routine. Remember, God's hatred isn't about wrath or anger, but His deep love for humanity. He wants us to walk in His blessing and light, not wither away like a tree without water. Psalm 30:8